Hi and welcome back to Money IQ. My name is Toyosi and thanks for joining me today as we talk about debt management and setting debt clearing as a financial goal in this new year. So if your goal this year is to clear your debt, come out of debt, be debt free, reduce your debt to whatever form it is, this is the right video for you. If you know a friend in this category, send them this video. We wanted to start by saying, in some cases, debt isn't by choice. It could have been because of circumstances, falling on hard times, and so on. Now, in some cases, debt could be a behavioral thing. Before we go on, our promise is to be very, very real. So, examine yourself and determine what category you fall into. The thing about debt, unfortunately, is it is a cycle that only you can break if you want to. Debt, like any other thing that is hard work, requires motivation. You have to be determined to want to get out of it. Debt is hard. It causes anxiety and depression. If your debt is big and is causing anxiety, heartache, speak to professional debt advice agencies. Citizen Advice Bureau is one, and so many others. What we'll try and cover here is something simple, quick, but it might not apply to everyone. But we hope that you at least get some very practical tips to help you in this new year. So let's get to it. What is debt? The English dictionary defines debt as what is owed. It doesn't have to be money, right? It could be your life. It could be a car. It could be a pet. It could be anything. But a debt simply is what is owed. Now, owing doesn't sound right, right? So why do people talk about good debts and bad debts? Because at the end of the day, you owe someone. Yeah, I mean, we try to make light of a bad situation sometimes, but anything to make ourselves feel better. Okay, I'm just kidding. There are good debts and there are bad debts. I would define them now. But yeah, basically, a good debt is a mortgage. A good debt is something defined as a loan or money you owe that generates an interest or a profit or some form of income for you in the future. Mortgage is a perfect example. Student loan is another example. In most cases. Now, again, mortgage as well in most cases. Now, a bad debt, let me be controversial. Car financing. A bad debt is basically something that doesn't generate interest for you, but actually generates you loss. Why have I said car financing? Because as soon as you put your keys into that ignition, the value of a car drops. So, should you car finance? Well, I'll leave that for you to think about. But, you know, that's a quick way to kind of distinguish between a good debt. Good debt gets you money, bad debt loses you money. So you can think about it that way. Now, the thing about debt and setting a goal to clear debt is it is quite a sensitive topic and context is king. It really does depend on the type of debt that you have. I'm going to try and take a few examples and think about practical ways to kind of tackle it. But there are some things that you should know that are key for whatever debt you're facing that will help you. First of all is know your debt. What does it mean to know your debt? Know your debt basically just means know how much you owe, know the interest you owe, know who you owe. I know, it sounds very simple, right? But actually, it's not that simple. When I say how much you owe, okay, that is the total value. But actually, cost of your loan is something that a lot of us need to know about. What does it mean to have 2.25 ARP or things like that? You need to kind of know what those means. Okay, how much is your loan costing you? It is very, very, very important to know that. The next thing is to know your in and your out. So even if you're in this debt, how much are you making and how much do you have to spend in a month? You need to have good knowledge of that. Before I go on, stay motivated. I know you could have gotten to point A and be like, I'm not doing this again. But no, don't be discouraged. Stay motivated. Keep going. This will come in handy in every step and whatever step you're in. Be encouraged. Get out of that debt. You can do it. You can make it. Keep going. Now, those things I believe are key to overcoming and getting out of debt. Now, let's talk about a few debts that you would have. The one that we all tend to fall into is the overdraft. Now, we do because our banks provide us facilities for this. I would say if you're not in the trap and you're tempted to be in the trap, tell your bank to remove your overdraft facility ASAP. Now, overdrafts, I think, are one of the, besides payday lenders, but overdrafts are actually really, really bad. I mean, who charges you daily for owing money? How do they expect you to get out of that? Yeah. Now, overdrafts. How do you clear your overdraft debt? The thing you have to realize, and what's very risky about debt, is oftentimes we tend to just pay the interest and not actually the value. Know your debt. So, when you know your debt and you know the value of your debt and the interest or the fee you're paying, it allows you to plan better. Let's take, for example, your bank charges you £2 a day for every day you take out an overdraft, and today you took £100 overdraft. The way I'll be thinking about paying off my debt is not necessarily thinking about paying £10 a day, because that's not going to get you anywhere, right? You're just going to keep paying the £2, £2. But actually, I'm going to work harder to try and clear that bigger chunk so that I don't have as much interest. That's how I would think about it. That's one way. But like I said, overdraft is something that generally I would say stay away from. How can you stay away from overdrafts? Consolidate all your bank accounts. Advisable to have only 3 bank accounts at most. It doesn't mean you can't have sub accounts in those banks, but actually stay away from having more than 3 banks, because then you fall into the temptation of getting overdraft facilities across this. If your overdraft is too bad and out of hand, feel free to contact your bank or your provider and negotiate better rates or create a payment plan that works. But remember, everyone is keen to get interest on whatever loan you owe. So, in as much as they will offer you and they want you to keep paying, think about the ways in which you can stretch yourself and pay a bit more than they've asked you to pay. If you need some help, refer to a budgeting video where you can get quick and practical steps on ways in which you can squeeze yourself, and get extra money out to overpay your loan. That's overdraft. The next one I like to talk about is credit card. You see, credit card is one that people tend to get mixed reaction for, because your credit card can actually be good and your credit card can actually be bad. It just really depends on how you manage it. But let's start with this golden rule. Do not do minimum repayment for credit card. Pay it in full. Honestly, pay it in full. Now, what I see credit card as is a future expense. A future expense that you will pay back. That's actually what a credit card is. And that's the best way to think about managing your credit card. But let's talk about you being in a credit card debt. So if you're in a credit card debt or a store card debt, the best thing to do is to look for a card that offers zero balance transfer. Basically, what a zero balance transfer is it allows you to move that loan onto that credit card provider at no interest. You understand? Or in some cases, it allows you to owe for a certain period of time at no interest. Now, hopefully that time offers you ample time to gather some fund and clear some of that debt. So if you're in credit card debt, look for deals on price comparison websites and try and find a card that offers you zero balance transfer. Side tip for credit cards: if you would like to get a credit card, look for credit cards that offer rewards like air miles, Amazon voucher, and so much more. Okay, that's a good tip to have. Now, the last type of loan could be bank loan or payday loan or things like that. Again, with those, like we touched on earlier, a lot of them, it's about making money off the interest, right? So to clear those kind of debts like the overdraft, you need to think about making sure you're repaying higher value than the interest. Don't think about the minimum. Think about how much of a value you're able to clear rather than the interest you're able to pay. Okay, I hopefully that kind of makes sense. whatever loan you're in, think about you want to pay off the value more rather than the interest, because once your value decreases, your interest reduces automatically. Now, everybody's case is different. Debts differ for different people. So, whatever situation you are in, think about what you think will work. If you need to pick up the phone, haggle, do it. If you need to get zero balance transfers, do it. But whatever situation you are in, stay motivated and clear your debt. You can do it. Even if it's allocating £100 a month, you can do it. Look at how much is coming in, look at how much is going out. Where can you make adjustments? Where can you make cuts? And clear that debt. Remember, if you need extra help, call those helplines to help you out. One of the things I should have started with is the golden rule of debt. You should always aim to clear the debt that costs you more. Now, cost can come in two forms. It could be interest costs, it could be the value cost. So, say for example, a mortgage of £500,000 with an interest of 2% is actually quite high compared to a loan of £1,000 with an interest of 10%. You understand? Because the value is more even though the rate is small. But here, the rate is higher, but the value is low. So, you need to know your debt so that you can know which debt costs you more. Aim to pay off the debt that costs you more, except if it's a good debt in the case of a mortgage. Of course, we're seeing the trend where people are looking to pay off their mortgage ASAP as well. Now, I hope those tips have been helpful. Remember, and I will say it again, look to pay off the loan that costs you the most. Remember, know your debt, know your ins, know your out. I hope you found these tips really helpful and useful. Please let us know what you think. Let us know if you're taking any of these steps and what has worked and what hasn't worked for you. If you'd like to talk one-on-one, feel free to drop a comment, send us an email, and continue to ask us questions. Tell us what content you want us to bring up, and remember to subscribe and share with your friends. And do take care. Bye.